as a student of singing, there are things to be mindful of. Not everything works for everybody. What do I mean by that? Like simply someone saying, do this exercise to improve this, doesn't necessarily work. And here's why. It's not just about doing the exercise. Most students, when they hear doing exercise, they hear the note, they hear the word, but they don't hear how to do it. And that's the ear that I bring to my lessons. So say for instance, I know a lot of people know about neigh, and they know about gug, and they know about buzzing, right? But how are you doing that? It's not about the scale, it's not about the word you're using, but it's about your approach to each note and doing the actual exercise itself. For instance, most people just say neigh, 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 and they think it's the word, but it's not the word, it's neigh, 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 neigh. It's how you're doing the neigh, 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 right? How you're buzzing. It's not airplane. Oh, I can't even do it in an airplane. How do I do like airplane? It's not really gonna do anything, but might do something different for you, right? But what am I doing differently, right? So showing students how to actually do the exercises is what's actually gonna be beneficial. And that's gonna be difficult to do without having a teacher with you in real time giving you that feedback. When I'm speaking about doing the exercises consistently, I'm talking about keeping that same, the few different factors in being consistent. That's keeping that same feel, that same sound. So if I'll use neigh as an example just for the sake of it. Neigh, I can't go neigh, 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 neigh. I'm going from being in the exercise and being normal, and then going back to the exercise and then back again. That is not consistent as far as doing the exercise is concerned. Or if I'm really funny and less funny and then really funny again, that's also not consistent. Or the other way I can look at consistency is as I'm going up the scale, I want to lighten my voice so that it's not heavy everywhere, because your voice can't handle being really heavy in a high note. It'll end up, the experience will be more like screaming, right? So in the exercises, as you're going up the scale and adjusting the weight that you're using, and it could be said a lot of different ways, but I'm just using weight as just the word for the day. If you're adjusting how much weight you use versus going up and down the scale, that's also being consistent. So there's kind of 3 or 4 different levels of consistency when I say, and it's not about frequency, like how often you're doing it, being consistent in exercises in your life. That's not what I mean either. So how do you know if what you're doing is right or wrong? I've answered some of this before. Wrong obviously is if you're straining. That's the obvious one. How you know you're doing it right though is tricky. So having a coach, having a teacher to give you more immediate feedback. So there's 2 different sensations that you would have. One sensation is stronger than the other, or it's one or eventually some of both. So your ear, once you start to get enough feedback to hear when it's right, some people, they can hear it now when it's right once they develop a listening for what it is that they're doing along with the coach. Some people develop a feel for it based on the feedback. So hearing you're doing it right. Okay, I'm trying to remember how that feels when they said it was right. Trying to remember how that feels when they said it was right. And over time, you're gonna have a sensibility about your singing, whether it's with hearing or with feeling or with both. So it's a development. Like every part of learning your voice is a discovery, because once you figure something out, there's something new to discover. And so having someone along with you along the way to point out, okay, next level now, like you got that, but we're not quite where we need to be yet. So now the next level, that now that you've got that baked in, let's do this. Like I think what I was this past week, I feel like I've been repeating this a lot with my students, where okay, got to put some thought around what we're doing, and then we're listening, we're feeling, we're doing the thing. Get to the point where you don't need to think about it, and you just go. Next level is, oh, we got to put our thinking cap, we got to put some thought around this next thing again. So the thinking, and then the muscle memory, and then the thinking, and that's how the voice really gets to build, and your awareness gets to build. One outcome of that, besides what happens with your own voice, I've noticed that my students also have started to hear artists that they listen to differently. They're starting to notice different things that are happening. They're starting to pick up on, hey, when I hear this, it sounds like this. When I hear this, it sounds like that. Am I hearing something wrong? And those are fun conversations to have, because then I realize that my students' ears are now becoming more aware. And so they stop comparing so harshly with their own voices compared to it, which is pretty fun.